prolonged and devastating involvement in Vietnam. In his best performance since Braveheart, Mel Gibson plays Hal Moore.
Can't sleep?
Men are so young, and now they sent me a new crop even greener. When I look at them, I see our boys.
And that's Madeline Stowe as Moore's wife. Sam Elliott has some great moments as an old war horse gearing up for yet one more battle.
Some new rifles, too, the M16.
Oh, that's supposed to be a pretty good weapon.
Lots of plastic. Feels like a BB gun to me. I think I'll stick with my pistol.
Colonel Moore's troops rush into combat, but they're badly outnumbered, and the casualties start mounting.
Brigade headquarters wants you lifted out on the first chopper at dawn.
Now, what idiot would keep ordering that in the middle of a damn battle?
General Westmoreland wants a briefing.
Give me that. I am in a fight, and I object to this order to return to Saigon. Now, I will not leave my men. Is that clear? Out.
The battle sequences in We Were Soldiers aren't quite as head-spinning as in Black Hawk Down, but this film does a much better job of establishing the characters before they plunge into battle. Gibson and Elliott, Chris Klein, and Barry Pepper, who plays the shell-shock photojournalist, they're all excellent.
Joe Galloway, UPI. How's it going, Colonel?
Well, we've been flat to the board since last night. We're greatly outnumbered.
You got more enemy coming, too, sir. Saw a whole chain of lights coming down the mountain on the way in.
That's so.
Yes, sir.
Well, I can't guarantee your safety.
Yes, sir, I know.
Meanwhile, Stowe and Kerry Russell from Felicity strike just the right notes of grace and strength in some of the film's most wrenching scenes when they have to deliver tragic news to wives on the base. This is a stirring epic about good men risking their lives long before most people back home in the United States even knew where Vietnam was on the map.
I was also really caught up in this film. The action scenes are gripping and they're so horrifying. I mean, the fact that these men have the bravery and the will to go back the next day after the devastation that has already occurred. And then also the way that both the Gibson character and the Vietnamese commander plan. They're using tactics. They're actually using things they learned in military college in order to try to outsmart each other. So it's sort of like a very bloody chess game.
And this film does a really good job of showing the troops. They're not just the hated VC who talk real fast and round up the prisoners and shoot them in the head. We see them as human beings. We see one soldier looking at a picture. It's probably his wife or his girlfriend who he's in love with. So there's a lot of emotional investment in these characters on both sides before the devastation starts.
Very good film. Our next film, Mean Machine, a British comedy about a prison soccer team, resembles The Longest Yard, the 1974 Burt Reynolds movie, and no wonder, because both films are based on the same screenplay. And Mean Machine was even the original title of The Longest Yard. This version stars Vinnie Jones, a British football player famous for what even the BBC calls playing dirty football. Locked in prison, he's challenged by the warden to coach a team to play against the Guards team.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do it, Josh.
What'd you think? Bring the clipboard.
Vinny wants a prisoner named Monk on his team, even though Monk is feared by the other prisoners as violent and dangerous.
Would you like to play with us?
No.
We're playing the Guards.
The movie's best scenes involve dirty tricks, which are demonstrated with the helpfulness of a do-it-yourself video.
The cunningly titled Elbow in the Face. Very, very effective.
The way it usually works is Europe makes a witty satirical comedy and Hollywood dumbs it down. But this time, the British take Robert Aldrich's original film, where Burt Reynolds was very good and there were pot shots at 70s political targets, and remakes it as a physical comedy. There are scenes that work, jokes that get laughs, and Vinnie Jones, who played a hitman in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, gets a chance to act this time and shows that he sort of can. I also liked old David Kelly, who became famous for his naked scooter ride in Waking Ned Devine, and once again plays a wise and wicked philosopher.
Yeah, I like this. It doesn't just resemble The Longest Yard. I mean, it's really almost a carbon copy, just with soccer instead of football, which of course is football over there. And it's got a lot of great action. And I think Vinnie Jones is better than you're giving him credit for. He's got a real presence. I'd like to see him in maybe a Bond movie as a villain or do something with an American star. I think he's got a lot of potential to cross over and become a big star.
He's got the real thing. And because I'm not really familiar with British footballers, I went on the web to do some research. And this guy is notorious over there for all kinds of dirty tricks. So he's kind of playing an autobiographical role.
There's a lot of rough stuff. Even a duplication of the one guy getting it right where it really hurts and everybody enjoying it several times, just as it did in Longest Yard. So it's a lot of fun.
Coming up later in the show, Josh Hartnett complicates romance with the girl of his dreams in 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Good night.
And coming up next, Vampires Rock in Queen of the Damned.
Join me or die.
I'm not as precious as you think. Do it.
A fetching young mortal is such a fan of the vampire Lestat that he might have to get caller ID so he can avoid her constant overtures in Queen of the Damned. Based on one of the wildly popular Anne Rice vampire novels, Queen of the Damned is set in the present day. Lestat rises from a 100-year slumber and develops a taste for the debauchery of the modern world, in particular goth rock. Faster than you can say Marilyn Manson, Lestat is a star.
Lestat, do you have anything else to say to the other vampires listening out there?
As a matter of fact, I do. Come out, wherever you are.
And that's Stuart Townsend, who plays Lestat as a brooding male model with a bad accent. Marguerite Moreau is Jessie, a researcher for the Talamasca Institute, who apparently majored in vampirology in college.
You're beautiful to me because you're human. Your frailty. Your short years.
The late pop star Aaliyah has the title role, but unfortunately it's a relatively small and terribly forgettable part.
I know you, Lestat. I know that you crave to have the world at your feet. And I've come to give it to you.
Queen of the Damned is too gory to be a comedy and too silly to be an effective horror film. I did laugh a few times, as when Lestat runs into an old vampire buddy and he wonders how the guy got through the 50s wearing all that red velvet. And there's something kind of clever about the merging of vampire culture with hardcore heavy metal that's being done in real life. But the pounding music is like bad Limp Bizkit, and Lestat really isn't much of a singer. And they totally wasted the chance for a duet between Lestat and the Queen. At least we knew Aaliyah could sing. Why not go for all-out camp and have them do a speed metal version of We Go Together from Grease?
You know, one of the funny things about that guy who's wearing the red velvet is that Lestat was asleep during the 50s.
So how does he know about the 50s?
Probably hasn't had any time to research fashion since he woke up again. You know, I think it's kind of neat the way Aaliyah can kind of zap her vampire enemies, and they burst into flames, and then their ashes kind of curl up and float up like the wrapper from an amaretto cookie. I mean, that's all I could think about while I was looking at that.
I think they only had so much money for special effects, because then there's another time where she walks out of this burning vampire nightclub, and it looks like something from a 1962 Roger Corman movie. I mean, it's like, you know, you could tell that the flames aren't anywhere near her, so it's really uneven.
The original film, Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, which starred Tom Cruise, had a lot of slick production values and a certain eerie, brooding charm, and this looks like the low-rent version.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming up next, Josh Hartnett swears off sex for 40 Days and 40 Nights.
We're willing to do whatever is necessary to get the job done.
And on next week's show, Roger and I reveal our personal choices on a special Oscar show if we pick the winners.
This morning at the coffee shop, they were unofficially sponsoring Hot Women Wearing No Bras Day.
Hot women wearing no bras?
I mean, like hot women. There were 48 breasts at the Cafe Trias this morning.
That's Josh Hartnett there as Matt, a guy who has completely sworn off sex for Lent. But the other guy only looks like a priest. It's really his brother, Adam Treese, who is a seminary student. Matt vows to have no sex of any kind, including flying solo, for 40 days and 40 nights.
How many days do you think he'll last? Days?
His co-workers start an internet betting pool, and Paulo Costanzo is a pal who subjects Matt's environment to scientific scrutiny.
It's a special light that allows me to see if any fluids have been liberated.
The funniest scene in the movie involves Matt's dinner with his folks, including his father, played by Barry Newman, who has just had a hip replacement but is thrilled by the state of his sex life. This is the last thing Matt needs to hear.
I mean, I think a good sexual appetite is a real, normal, healthy part of being a man. They sent me this sheet, a whole bunch of different positions on it. I just check off the ones I can do. Have we ever tried this before?
Walter, how could you forget the Maui Hilton?
40 Days and 40 Nights sounds like another assembly line sex comedy, but the movie develops a heart when Matt meets his dream girl, played by Shannon Sossamon.
We are totally connecting, and it's not a sexual thing.
She's offended that he doesn't want to have sex, and the more he lies about it, the worse it gets. Meanwhile, a former girlfriend, who is why he swore off sex, vows revenge. The movie is more evidence that Josh Hartnett is a versatile actor who can play a comic role like this as well as star in action movies. The director, Michael Lehman, also made The Truth About Cats and Dogs, a wonderful film. This movie has the same charm.
No.
Yes,
this movie
yes.
has very little charm.
Oh,
Josh
come on.
Hartnett is good, and I love Shannon Sossamon. I think she can become a big star. But this comedy is so wrong on so many levels. That scene with the parents. Now, let's go into this scene for a little bit.
That scene had me laughing.
But that scene is all wrong comedically. He's trying.
Why did I laugh? Why was I laughing if it's all wrong?
Because you're an easy target, I guess, this week.
Listen.
Okay, wait a minute. He's trying not to think about sex, not to have sexual thoughts. What's less sexual than your parents discussing their sex lives? That should cure him and make him not think about sex for 40 days and 40 nights.
That isn't why I laughed.
He gets turned on by his parents talking about the frequency of their sex life. It makes no sense.
I laughed at the father with his little chart and his book of various positions.
But
and
it's
his
not
hip replacement.
true.
And then he gets up and he has the big cast on his leg. I mean,
but Roger, it's not true to the conceit of the story, which is such a high concept. I'm going to go 40 days and 40 nights.
I don't care about the conceit of the story.
This movie also really despises women. All the women in here are like these tarts. They walk around in these short skirts. And this internet company they supposedly work at, no wonder why all these .coms go out of business. Nobody does any work.
You are subjecting this movie to exactly the wrong kind of scrutiny.
No, it's not funny.
Yes, it is. It is funny.
Within its very, very contrived premise, it doesn't stay true to that.
You are wrong.
I am not, but I will move on to a movie I liked a lot more. It's called Monsoon Wedding. It's a film so infused with music and color and love of life that it just makes your heart dance. Director Mira Nair is probably best known to Americans for her 1992 film Mississippi Masala, starring Denzel Washington. Here she directs an ensemble cast of mostly unfamiliar but wonderfully expressive actors in a family tale that weaves through the 4 tumultuous days leading up to an arranged marriage just outside Delhi between a young local woman and an Indian man who now lives in Houston.
Yeah, I know it's a risk, but what marriage isn't a risk? Now, whether our parents introduce us or whether we meet in a club, what difference does it make?
Feeling the emotional and the financial pressure of hosting the wedding, family patriarch Lalit quarrels with his wife about their adolescent son.
Happy, na? Happy with what you've done?
I did not mean to upset him like that. Why couldn't you say something?
Don't talk to me, okay?
Monsoon Wedding includes a bouquet of musical and dance numbers, each filled with joy and infectious rhythms. Here is a film that examines and celebrates polyglot culture. Cell phones are chirping even as the women cover their hands in henna and the men don traditional garb. Director Nair and her cast of amazingly good actors do a wonderful job of creating at least a dozen fully formed characters, from the old world elders to the westernized kids to the wedding planner who falls for a sweet housekeeper. Monsoon Wedding works as a comedy, a melodrama, a giddy romance, and a dance film. It's really a wonder to behold.
Oh, I loved it. You know, I think this could be the first Indian film to really break through to a pretty wide American audience. And one interesting thing, everyone in this movie speaks English.
Right.
Although sometimes they speak Hindi instead, or even combine it in the same
go back
sentence,
and forth, yeah.
which just adds more spice, or masala, as the Indians would say. I thought that this film was so much fun. And one of the interesting things about it is the way Mira Nair involves the musical and dance numbers in a realistic way, even though we know that in the traditional Bollywood production, they just, you know, they break into song and dance every 10 minutes as part of the genre. And here it's more built in.
But it's beautiful music. Some
Yes.
of it's traditional, and there's almost like a house music, real modern stuff, and a great-looking cast, and some really funny moments, and some great moments of romance.
I wish people would occasionally just open themselves to the idea, maybe I'll see this Indian film called Monsoon
Because
Wedding.
it's actually
more fun than anything else around.
It is, and it's very accessible.
Yes. Coming up next, the visionary pairing of Steven Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick's talents. My video spotlight when we return.
Man made us better at what we do than was ever humanly possible.
Ebert and Roeper's Video Spotlight is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
Mommy, if Pinocchio became a real boy and I become a real boy, can I come home? That's just a story. The story tells what happens.
Steven Spielberg's AI was a relative disappointment at the box office. It did $80 million, which for Spielberg is not good, but then it turned up on a lot of critics' best 10 lists. It's in the video spotlight this week. The movie wants us to care for a little boy who is really a machine, and for me, that wasn't quite possible, but at a time when movies play it safe, this one takes enormous risks. It begins when a couple whose own son is in a cryogenic coma adopt the robot prototype of a perfect little boy.
What were those words for, Mommy?
What did you call
And that's the gifted young actor Haley Joel Osment as young David, whose artificial intelligence has an uncanny way of seeming just like the real thing. But his parents reject him when their son revives, and David wanders in the shadow world of thinking machines, befriended by a robot played by Jude Law.
The ones who made us are always looking for the ones who made them. They go in, fold their hands, look around their feet, sing songs, and when they come out, it's usually me they find. I've picked up a lot of business on this spot.
A lot of people, me included, have problems with the logic in the last act as Spielberg guides his story into a science fiction version of Pinocchio.
How can the blue fairy make a robot into a real live boy?
AI is a great film until that last act, which goes, I think, a little astray, but it's an intriguing and sometimes inspired movie. It's just out on DVD and tape, and it's a chance to look at this collaboration between Spielberg and the great Stanley Kubrick, who developed the project and then passed it on. Kubrick knew about machines, Spielberg knew about kids, and the uneasy tension between those kinds of knowledge makes AI uneven but fascinating.
Okay, are the movies blowing too much smoke? We'll be back with my parting shot.
Should most likely tell you that our reward is on this earth, and bingo is probably the extent of it.
From The Man Who Wasn't There to Gosford Park to the Royal Tenenbaums and Vanilla Sky, cigarette smoke has been clouding up movie screens in a big way. A recent Dartmouth study tried to establish a link between smoking in the movies and kids actually taking up cigarettes. And a group called Smoke Free Movies took out a full-page ad in the New York Times that called for all movies that feature smoking of any kind to be rated R. But the movies really don't glamorize tobacco any more than they promote drinking, drug-taking, or robbing banks. Much on-screen smoking is in period pieces like Heart's War, or it involves unsavory characters or people under stress. It's all about context. When in the bedroom Sissy Spacek lights up a Marlboro, for example, it's always for a very specific and decidedly unglamorous reason. And that's my parting shot.
Okay, recapping this week's movies, 2 thumbs up for We Were Soldiers, 2 more thumbs up for Mean Machine, 2 thumbs down for Queen of the Damned. A split vote on 40 Days and 40 Nights, and 2 thumbs way up for Monsoon Wedding.
Remember, you can hear all our recent reviews at ebertandroper.tv and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, we'll be back with a special show, our annual look at the Academy Awards if we pick the winners. Until then, the balcony is closed.
Occasionally, a movie from out of left field, like Tempopo from Japan, will make it at the box office, and I would like that to happen in Monsoon Wedding.
I hope so, too. I mean, it's one of the best movies I've seen in the last several years, and as I said, it's not something that you have to learn about Indian culture, it's about people.
Facts of Life by Lysol. Fact, it's cough and cold season. Fact, Lysol spray helps stop the spread of the cold virus. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
These babies were conceived using the Clear Plan Easy Fertility Monitor. It identifies more fertile days each cycle than any leading method. Clear Plan, clear results.
They're your family. That's why you serve them all-natural Tyson chicken with no additives and minimal processing. Tyson, it's what your family deserves.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is brought to you by...
Brake sales don't come any bigger. Get 50% off lifetime brake pads and shoes at Meineke.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.